Today I'm sharing what we did in our homeschool this fall and my plans for our first 2 months of winter. I'm currently homeschooling my 3 youngest kids. They are 3, 6, and 12. My oldest 3 kids attend high school, but they were homeschooled until grade 8. And I'm trying a different approach to homeschool planning this year. And I'm working in 2-month blocks. So 1 fall block, 2 winter blocks, and 1 spring block. Today I want to fill you in on how our fall block went and share our plans for our first block of winter. For the fall, my top priority was to get outside. And we did almost every single school day. I made it a goal that we would get to every playground in our city because there are a few that we had never been to. And on other days, we would go for hikes and nature walks. We don't have a fire pit in our backyard, but there's a campground close to our house. So one day we went there for a wiener roast and a s'more party. With it being migration season, we did some bird watching, and we have a pond close to our house as well. So there are a lot of Canada geese around at this time of year, and my kids saw a blue jay for the first time in their life. That was really exciting. We spent a few days at a conservation area nearby. It's my favorite place to be in the fall. The chickadees are busy fattening up for winter, and they'll take sunflower seeds right from your hand. And on our last trip there, they were doing a controlled burn in the effort to preserve the natural prairie grasslands. It helps to encourage the growth of native plant species while killing off invasive plants that aren't native to this area. So we were still allowed into the area while they were doing the burn. And the flames were probably 10 feet high as we drove past. We could feel the heat from the fire inside the car. It was pretty crazy. Something out of the ordinary this year was the amount of mushrooms growing here. I don't know why they were so prolific, but my theory is that because there were so many forest fires burning to the west of us, the smoke that blew this way may have contained mushroom spores that fell on the ground as the smoke blew over, and because we had a lot of very smoky days. But I don't know. If you have any insight, I would love to hear it. I've lived here my whole life and I've never seen mushrooms like this here before. So anyway, that summarizes our outdoor time, which definitely took priority over books for the fall. We got outside as much as we could, and books were just a bonus for these 2 months. In addition to the books that I had planned to use for science, which I mentioned in my fall planning video, I also picked up these 2 books from the library. A Butterfly is Patient and A Seed is Sleepy. The kids really enjoyed these, and the illustrations are really beautiful and they're very informative, and the seed one especially was really helpful because it made the kids more observant of seeds as we were out on our nature walks. Janie got some seeds stuck on her shoes and her pants when we were trekking through the bush, and after reading about them in this book, we knew exactly what they were. I'll just show them to you right here. I had never heard them called cockleburs. I just called them burrs growing up, and I'd never seen them this big. My dog and I always got full of tiny ones stuck all in my dog's hair and my clothes, but I've never seen big ones like that. So that was interesting. For social studies, we'd planned to use this time traveler book. We got started with Middle Ages, and we haven't done it very often, but what we have done has been enjoyable. And then in addition to that, we discussed a bit of geography, just as it comes up in normal life. So because we had family visiting from South America, we talked about flying from South America to Canada, and we enjoyed eating treats from other parts of the world because they brought us candy. Candy is always welcome in our house. In language arts, my main priority for fall was to read aloud The Cricket in Times Square. And we did accomplish that. I used to read aloud a lot more often, but more recently, there's been a lot of books that I have started reading aloud or started listening to an audiobook with the kids, and we've just not finished them. My motivation just hasn't stuck with it. I haven't persevered in actually finishing a book with my kids in quite a while. So the fact that we completed this book is a huge win for me, and now I'm motivated to continue reading aloud. I think that if you enjoy music, it you would enjoy this book. And it would have opened the door for us to do a lot of music appreciation and listening. There are a lot of songs and styles of music that are mentioned in this book, and it would have been a good opportunity to pull those up on Spotify if I had known what was coming before I actually started reading that day, if I had planned in advance. But I didn't want to interrupt our reading time, so we didn't take advantage of that. But it would have been a good enhancement to reading this book. If you read it with your kids, I would recommend doing that. There was one day when we needed to get outside and we needed to read our book. I had promised the kids we would finish it that day, and we didn't have a lot of time, so we couldn't do them separately. And so I said, let's jump in the van, drive to the bush, we'll pack our picnic blanket, we're gonna go sit in the bush and read our book. And I sweetened the deal by bringing treats, snacks along, so that helped everybody to be a little motivated to get there. So we combined our nature time and our reading time, and I would love to do that more often. I wish I would have started sooner, but I didn't, and now we can't do it outside because winter is here. So I guess I'll file that away under future hopes and dreams. Deacon had some independent reads. He read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and then instead of reading another one of the books from the pile of possibilities that I had chosen for him, he wanted to read Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator because he wanted to continue in this world. So he read both of those books in the last 2 months. And I had planned to return to our All About Reading curriculum, and we didn't crack those lessons open once in the past 2 months, which is fine. We had other priorities. I did get Felix started on Reading Eggs. It's an online reading program, and they offer, if you want to check it out, they have a free 1-month trial. And then if you want to stick with it, you just pay a monthly fee for use afterward. And our 3 oldest kids all learned to read just by doing Reading Eggs. And I thought it would be a good fit for Felix. He's having a lot of fun with it and making a lot of progress. So that's working well so far. So we're still in our free month trial, but we will continue to use it as we go forward. For math, Deacon continued with his Math UC, and he's almost done his current level. So I'm hoping that he'll get started on the next one in the next couple of weeks. And I only did a couple of math lessons with Felix. We're taking it pretty slow with him. Not because he can't do it, it's more so because he's so capable with math. He's very sharp with math, and I don't feel the need to be doing a lot of math lessons with him because he does so much math on his own, just in day-to-day life. But again, with winter coming, we'll probably do more book work in the coming months. Felix turned 6 this fall. He was adamant that he wanted a birthday party. He had never had a friend's birthday party before. I don't love throwing birthday parties. It's not my thing, but I love my kids. So we had a birthday party and he had a lot of fun. He got this game from a friend for his birthday. It's called Yummy Yummy Monster Tummy. He just prefers to call it Beastly Monsters for some reason. But it's really fun. It's a cooperative game that uses an app to read these QR codes on the back of the cards. And you feed the monsters different things. And you're working to mix colors to match the color of the monster that you're feeding. And if you end up having your colors mix to a similar color of the monster's body, then he's happy and you advance through the game. It's really easy to play. And I don't like learning new games. If you know me, you know that probably about me. But this game teaches you to play as you go, and the app gives you prompts so you don't have to sit down and learn a bunch of rules before you can help your kids play it. So I really appreciate that about this game. We did picture study of Van Gogh, and it was so much fun. I can't believe how much Felix loved learning about Van Gogh. I would show them a painting and they would observe it and tell me what they noticed about the painting afterward. And when people would come over, Felix would pepper them with facts about Van Gogh's life and his art, and he'd point out different things to them about Van Gogh's pieces because we had them displayed over our piano. And one day he said to me, "Can we please paint? Because I hardly ever get to paint. And Van Gogh painted over 900 paintings and I want to paint more like Van Gogh." So how could I say no to that? I often have a reason why painting's just not a good idea that day, but I couldn't say no. So we pulled out the painting supplies. And as he was working, I pointed out that he had a lot of white space on his paper compared to Van Gogh's paintings. So he got right to work covering his whole painting with color. And this is his finished piece. I just love how it turned out. I don't know what it's actually supposed to be. That doesn't matter to me. I just think it looks really cool and he did a really good job. Along the line of arts and creativity, piano lessons started again for us. 4 of our kids take piano lessons, and this is Felix's first year. He's been so excited to learn to play, and he's catching on really quickly. And I can see that our piano teacher is having a lot of fun teaching him too, so that's been exciting. That was our fall. We had fun. That was my goal. My goal was for us to have fun and enjoy being outside. So that's what we did. And I think we had a really successful fall block. And now I'm looking ahead to winter. Part of my goal with getting outside regularly in the fall was that I wanted us to have some momentum to drive us to get outside when the weather got colder. And now that we've gotten snow here in October already, the little ones are eager to get outside. They want to go for walks. Janie has been asking if we can go to the bush, if we can go to the playgrounds. And it's me who's reluctant to go outside. I don't want to be cold. I don't enjoy being cold. But I'm thankful that my kids want to get outside despite the cold, because there is a lot of fun to be had outside in the winter if we just bundle up and get out there. So now I have the challenge of making sure that we have the right clothing to keep us warm. It won't be a daily occurrence that we get outside, but there are days when it's perfectly reasonable to expect that we'll go outside. So we will do that. I don't know how often or what we'll be doing, but we will go outside. I can't stay inside all winter. I know it's not good for my mental health. And I want to teach my kids to have a habit of getting outside when it's cold outside too. So I do foresee that we'll be doing a lot more indoor work now. So that will probably mean a little more focused energy with math lessons. And I want to continue with this Usborne Time Traveler book as we're going through the Middle Ages. And because we're coming up on Knights really soon, I also want to read this Knight's Handbook. And I'm trying to use what I have. I'm trying to not buy homeschooling material this year and just use what I have already in my bookshelves. So that was stashed away somewhere. And then we're going to bring back Poetry Tea Time. We're going to make Poetry Tea Time a regular event again. And warm drinks and snacks, they just make a good excuse to read some poetry together. So that will involve a lot of Shel Silverstein. We have a number of his books. And I also got this Poetry for Young People by Robert Frost from a thrift store. It's arranged by season. So I think we'll read the fall ones and then we'll work through winter as well. And then I'm going to pull out the All About Reading and get back to work on that. And we'll continue with reading eggs for Felix. And my 3-year-old is also doing reading eggs, and she likes to play Duolingo ABC as well. I'm not actively trying to teach her to read, but she's picking up a lot already. And for reading aloud in the next couple of months, the first book we're doing is an audiobook that I got from the library called The Lost Year. I have heard it's good, and we've started it already. And the opening scene has a boy playing The Legend of Zelda. So my boys were immediately hooked. That was a good opener. And then after we finish that, I think we'll also read The Door in the Wall, since it's set in the Middle Ages. I think it'll go well with the history that we're doing. And then in December, I plan on reading The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. It's a short book about some bad kids who take over the church Christmas pageant, and they're completely irreverent, and they shake up the stuffy church crowd, and they make people realize how scandalous and beautiful the incarnation of Jesus Christ really is, that he came to live among humanity and emptied himself for the lowest of society, which these children are. And so are we, every one of us. And he did that because he loves us. And it makes me cry every time I read it. And then I got this nature anatomy book from the library. I think we'll work on reading through this and use it as inspiration for some drawing and painting. There's a lot of cool nature drawings in here. And I think trees would be a fun focus right now, since we've been spending a lot of time outside and just looking at different types of trees, leaves, bark, seeds. So we'll mash up art and science for the next month. And then for picture study, Felix chose Rembrandt as our next artist. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's really fun seeing how excited he is about doing picture study. I never expected that, but he's just really keen to learn about everything. So it probably sounds a little ambitious, and I have to remind you and myself that these are all just ideas at this point, and how this actually works out over the next 2 months will remain to be seen. November will be more book heavy, and then December will be more focused on having fun and doing Christmas activities. We have an advent calendar that I made years ago. It's a garland of tiny stockings, so there's 24 of them, and inside each stocking, I put a paper counting down the days until Christmas, as an advent calendar would. And every paper has an activity for that day. It could be anything from going sledding, going to the grocery store to buy food for the food bank, or baking cookies, building a gingerbread house, or going to look at Christmas lights. And then we also have a long list of necessary Christmas movies to watch. So those will be in there. There's all kinds of things we love to do as a family just to bring joy to the Christmas season. I make sure that I have a list of really easy things in my back pocket for the advent calendar too, for days that I have really low energy. Simple things like drinking hot chocolate, or just giving them chocolate treats, or I'll go open this present under the tree and it's just a box of fun cereal or something easy for them to still enjoy and have fun with, because I don't have it in me to have an elaborate plan every day, but I can still make it fun. And yeah, I'm looking forward to homeschooling over the next 2 months, and I'm curious what you're doing in your homeschool this winter. What are you looking forward to? How do you make December fun in your home? What kind of activities do you like to do together? I'd love to hear it in the comments. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you next time. Bye.